2016 was a great year for movies as well. Always the smaller movies, the bigger movies. But with every other year, there always are those horrible trash heaps of movies. That's what this list is for. My top 5 worst movies of 2016. Let's get into it. At number 5 is going to be Batman, The Killing Joke. Yes, the cartoon animated movie that a lot of people really were looking forward to because of the comic book adaptation that people really wanted this to see. People love the Joker. People want to see his origin story. And guess what? It was a disappointment as hell to me because I'm a huge fan of the comic books. But not even that, it was also a badly made movie. They pushed it that it was going to be R-rated, and guess what? It didn't even need to be R-rated. I don't even know why it was. You had the whole first hour was a Batgirl prologue that honestly didn't fill in any story for me or even anyone that really cares. I mean, I had a friend watch it and he was like, that's it? That's what the comic book is? And I was like, no. The comic book is so much better and so much betterly paced. This movie's horribly paced and it's just very much a big disappointment. If you were looking forward to this and you haven't checked it out yet, I don't recommend it. It's kind of a waste of time and I'm really pissed off I bought it because there really was no point in me even watching it. It's really a disappointment overall and it should have been so much better. Go check out the comic book instead. Way better movie, and it's one of my biggest, worst disappointments and one of my worst movies of 2016. And at number 4 should have been the Gone Girl of this year, Girl on a Train. Now, when this was coming out, I loved the marketing, I loved the cast, Justin Theroux, Emily Blunt, Luke Evans. You had such a great cast in there and also a great director, the director from The Help, who really, this is all putting out to be one of the best. I didn't read the book, but from what I know is the book was fantastic. So coming into this movie, I was really hoping for something special. And guess what? When the reviews started coming out that this movie's horrible, I didn't go see it. I waited, and then I finally saw it, and it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, probably in the past few years. That's because this should have been a Gone Girl this year. Yes, it's a different story, but the thrillerness of it and the pacing was so badly paced. The acting was just mailed in and not even well done. The story didn't make me feel or care for any of the characters, and that's something that a story should be doing. The dialogue was bad. It was very predictable of a movie, and it just was not a good, intelligent movie. It should have been so much better for the marketing that it came into, but you can just tell that this was a mailed-in Gone Girl, that the studio wanted something to cash grab in. It's a popular book. Let's make it into a movie. People will go see it just based on the book alone. I say Girl on a Train is a big disappointment. Just like how the girl disappears in the movie, this movie should disappear from everyone's view of sight as well. And at number 3 is one of the most disappointing pieces of shit I've ever fucking seen. Independence Day Resurgence. Yes, the sequel to Independence Day, one of the best guilty pleasure popcorn eating movies ever out there. You have Will Smith as one of the action stars in that original, and who do you got in here? No one's. Liam Hemsworth, what the fuck? You're giving us the shitty Thor, the actor who can't even do anything? I mean, come on, at least give us someone better than that. I don't even know what Will Smith's person's name is supposed to be in here, but he did horrible in here as well. Then you have Jeff Goldblum coming back, you have all these other actors coming back, and guess what? They mailed it in, they didn't give a shit, they just got the paycheck, and that's all that mattered. Independence Day Resurgence, every single second I watched it, it got more dumb, and more dumb, and more dumb, and it got to the point of dumbness that I couldn't even fathom anymore while watching this movie. It was so disappointing and bad. It's not even a guilty pleasure. It's bad. I mean, you have Suicide Squad out there where there's bad things in that movie, but there's at least some little enjoyabilities in this movie. In this movie, I was groaning and just wanting to leave because it was so bad. I was this close to turning off the movie because I couldn't watch it anymore. Independence Day Resurgence really shouldn't have been resurged or anything. This movie should have just stayed down. It's a bad directing, bad CGI, and for how good the CGI was, it's bad in its generalness because it just was used for worthlessness. The story was just so out of this world, and I have no idea what Roland Emmerich was even doing with this franchise. He should have gone and made something else, left the movie alone. It kind of ruins the first one for a lot of fans of it. So if you haven't checked this out, don't even watch it. You'll ruin the first one for you. Go watch the first one again. It's so much better. Such a bad movie. One of the worst of 2016 and probably of all time. Coming in at number 2 is something that was very disappointing to me because the Purge election year. I really loved the second Purge. The first one was alright, but I love the premise of it. But the second one was so damn well done. It was made into this B-rated horror action movie, something of a planet terror. And that's what I loved about the second one. And what they do in the third one, they tried doing that, but tried adding more of the first elements in, with the fake jump scares and the horrible dialogue and the horrible acting. And god damn it, if you've watched this movie and you know that fucking bitch that wants her jam chocolate bar, I'm sure you've heard it in every other review, she is the reason that this movie doesn't succeed. That whole first part and that whole subplot is so fucking bad in that movie that I cannot even fathom why the fuck the director put it in there. I want my chocolate bar. I want my chocolate bar. What the fuck? If you have not seen this movie, just go look up on YouTube that scene. It is one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in a movie. And in fact, even in this movie, why was it even in there? He fucking dies. Thank God, I was so happy. But even after that, the movie didn't grow into any other places because the pacing had placed it in that center spot for so long. And it felt so long there that after it just kept going on, I didn't care about any of the characters. Yes, we had that badass come back from the second one, but I cared a little bit about his character. Yes, he had some good action, but overall it wasn't badass like the second movie was. It should have been more of what the second movie was, and that is the biggest problem we had with this. Because why not just do what the second movie did? No, you tried changing it too much, and that's not how it goes. The Purge election year really is a huge disappointment to anyone out there that goes and sees it. I hope to God this franchise is dead now, because the third one just killed it for me. And coming in at number 1 is a movie that I was anticipating so much that I recently just saw, and I have to say it is absolutely one of the biggest disappointments, one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and also just I can't fathom how it was this bad. Assassin's Creed, or Ass Creed is what some critics are calling it. I cannot tell you how bad this movie was. For the fact of having such a good director, Marion Cotillard, and Michael Fassbender all in one movie, you think that it could have came out to be something great. No, it was actually horrible. And for reference, I love the Assassin's Creed games. I played every single one, even the PSP version with Altair. But now we get this, and it's not even good. 15% of the movie takes place in the past, and the rest is all in the future, and that's not why we like Assassin's Creed. We like Assassin's Creed for the past and the time traveling and all that. We don't like it for the future. The future is not the important part of that, and that was what this movie failed on completely. If this movie had even had good story elements in the futuristic version, maybe I would have given a shit about some characters. Maybe if you would have thrown some more character development in there, maybe some awesome things like that would have made me care. Maybe I wouldn't have minded not being in the past as much. But the fact is that I didn't care about a single one of these characters. Every time I was just waiting, get to the past. I can't even remember some of the movie. That's how bad it was, because I was falling asleep in an Assassin's Creed movie. Guys, and I can't fathom that. It's so badly done, badly paced. The only good thing I could ever praise in this movie was the action. And even sometimes then they would mess it up, because they would have them fighting and then all of a sudden fly into the future and have him flying around in the Animus doing all these moves. And I'm just like, why are you doing that? Why in God's name would you be doing that? There's not a single point and reason for having it be like that. But Assassin's Creed is one of the biggest failures of 2016. It should have broken the video game curse, and it didn't. Uncharted, Last of Us, and Tomb Raider, you are our only hopes of doing that. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is my top 5 worst movies of 2016. That's my opinion. I know there are some other movies out there that I probably should have put on there, or maybe you'll even put on there. But hey, that's what down below in the comments are for. Comment down below, let me know what your top 5 worst movies are, or even maybe your top 10 worst movies are. I don't care. I want to hear what movies you hated this year. Let's talk about it down below. Make sure to like and subscribe as well, and look out for more in 2017, guys. Have a happy New Year's, and thank you so much for watching.